What we've made clear is that this administration will not just kick the can down the road. Immigration reform is no exception.
President Obama at American University this morning. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg had a front row seat for today's address. He is leading a coalition of mayors and big corporation executives to reshape what he calls the nation's failed immigration policy. I spoke to him just a few minutes earlier and asked the mayor if he was satisfied with what the president had to say.
I think the president outlined the problem, all the parts of it. There are four major things. You've got to solve them all at the same time, or you'll never build a political constituency to do so, or they won't work anyways. If you try any one of them, you have to do all four. But I think he outlined the problem, and now the issue is coming up with policies that we can implement and that the American public will understand and that Congress will go along to. But this is the first step, and I'm glad to see he's moved it up to the top of his agenda.
The top of his agenda. What does that really mean, though? He's been criticized for not making it a top priority. His defense, self-defense, is that he can't find any Republican support.
Well, I think the problem is not so much the Republicans. It is on both sides of the aisle and lots of parts of this country. People believe that immigrants are taking jobs, and in fact, I have a group of business people from the biggest companies in the country and mayors of some of the largest cities, and our job is to explain that quite the reverse is true. We will not work ourselves out of this problem of not jobs for everybody unless we have immigrants from around the world coming here, creating businesses, and inventing the next big things here, which will be the jobs of tomorrow.
How do you make that case to people in the Rust Belt who have seen their jobs evaporate and are thinking about the fact that they don't have a paycheck, and also people in Arizona and places like that who are screaming bloody murder because of the rate of kidnappings and the violence coming across the border?
Well, there's no question we have to get control of our border, and I'm sympathetic to people who live near a border and worry about crime. But the ways that you do that is twofold. You have to reduce the demand as well as stop the supply. And the demand of people coming over here is great, but they come because there are jobs here. And why are there jobs here for illegals? Because we don't have, the employers don't have a ways of telling whether or not somebody is legal. So at the same time you put your law enforcement people along the border, you have to change the Social Security card so it can't be counterfeited. You can go in lots of big cities in this country and for $50 buy a counterfeit Social Security card, $75 a green card, maybe $200 for a passport. We have to make those documents uncopyable and then enforce the law and say to employers, you cannot enforce somebody, you cannot hire somebody who is illegal. Right now the employer says, yeah, but tell me, they showed me a card. Well, okay, let's solve that problem, and that will get fewer people coming across the border, which will let the law enforcement officers that we put there better able to do their job. So you have to do both of those two things together. At the same time, you have to give out visas to those people who not want to come here, but that we want to come here. The people who will invent the next best thing, the people who will take the kind of jobs that nobody Americans want to do. Whatever it is, we should be in control of our own borders, and we should decide who comes here. We also have to make sure that we attract those who are the future. And what used to happen is everything was invented here. Today, people get their graduate education here and then go elsewhere to invent stuff, and the jobs that they are creating are in Canada or in Asia or in Europe or in South America or in Africa. Can't do this.
But past supporters of a comprehensive solution like John McCain are in tough re-election battles, and you've got many Republicans who have fled from the debate.
Well, that's our job, is to bring them back. Keep in mind, the November election is only 4 months from now.
So nothing's going to get
well, I don't know. It's
the
summertime, a lot of it. So, common sense says that it's the time to build a coalition. It's the time to be out there explaining and convincing people and showing them the data that this country depends on immigrants, or we don't have an economic future. And if the bill gets passed after November 3rd or before November 3rd, it is going to make a lot of difference, as long as in the next 6 months we pass a bill.
I want to ask you about something. As I figure it now, it's about 13 hours perhaps since LeBron James became a free agent. Let me play a bit of tape.
Willis on one leg, Clyde with a steal, Dr. J soaring from the line. Come on, LeBron, write the next chapter in NYC basketball history.
You've got deep pockets. The Daily News, the hometown tabloid today. Hometown tabloid says, sign him. Have you signed him yet?
I don't own either of the teams. We have 2 New York teams, and hopefully one of them will.
Why shouldn't he, Cleveland needs him. His heart should be in Cleveland. The president wants him to go to Chicago, we assume, for the Bulls.
It must be nice to have everybody want you.
But why should he come and play for the Knicks?
I don't know that he should play for the Knicks or the Nets, but he should play for one of the two. And the reason to do it is New York is the greatest stage in the world. And he can soar on the court, but he can also do things off the court. I said yesterday, he can walk the streets without people annoying him. On the other hand, he can have all the attention that he needs to accomplish what he wants. This is a guy that's interested in helping society, kids, education. He's got a lot of agendas, and he can do that better from New York than any place else.
Well, we shall see. Thank you very much. Mike Bloomberg, great to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Are you listening? LeBron James. And now we go right to the White House, where Admiral Thad Allen is briefing.
Hopefully after that, put a cement plug in that will kill the well. The